Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now this is Teardown. I discovered it about a week ago and I just cannot stop playing. Not only is this game great to look at, but it features fully destructible voxel environments, realistic physics simulations, a story mode and extensive mod support. All of this, however, does come at a cost. Most of this video is probably going to be shown at 20 frames per second or less, because it is, without a doubt, one of the most GPU intensive games I've ever tried to run, and considering I've still got an Nvidia T400 in my system, which is equivalent to a traditional consumer GT 1030 or Ryzen iGPU, my experience, although still enjoyable, wasn't ideal. But that's really why I wanted to make this video. The nature of this game means you don't need a solid 60 or even 30 FPS to have fun, and in all honesty, even that's probably not going to be possible on a wide range of hardware. But who needs a high frame rate when you can drive boats through houses? Even watching things slowly and realistically burn after going on a bit of a spree with a blowtorch just never gets old. I should probably state that this video isn't sponsored. I've just been fascinated by this early access release and of course wanted to take a look at it, and especially at its performance on entry level hardware. Speaking of which, we should probably go more in depth on that. Because of Teardown's incredibly low CPU usage and modest memory usage, I was able to record the gameplay internally using MSI Afterburner and incur literally no performance hit. In fact, the system requirements state simply a quad-core CPU for the minimum and an i7 for the recommended, as well as just 4 gigs of RAM for both. Where things get more demanding are the GPUs. A 3GB 1060 is suggested at minimum and an 8GB 1080 is recommended. Our T400 has 2 gigs. Obviously, driving a lorry into a solid building and then proceeding to start a fire that gradually swallows up the whole structure is going to be more intensive than just taking a boat ride around the marina, which is why it doesn't make much sense to give you an average performance figure. I mean, where do we even begin? Granted, all of the performance you've seen so far was captured at native 1080p. There are, of course, lower resolutions to choose from, and we can even select different resolution scaling options, like 75 and 50% of native. Switching to 50% doesn't eliminate all of the frame drops, but it does mean that we see at least double the frame rate, and visually, it still looks okay. You can still appreciate the fire and the physics at this resolution, put it that way, and that's what's important. I bet these effects are going to play havoc on the video's bitrate. I can already tell exactly how this video is going to look after YouTube's compression. It's not often I feel the need to make a video based on one game, but because of its popularity and the assumption that it is incredibly demanding, which is certainly fair, I wanted to demonstrate to you that you do have the ability to make it more low-end hardware friendly, though as I said before, it may not be entirely necessary in order to enjoy it. To finalise, I installed one of the many mods available, switched back to native 1080p with the low settings, and decided to cause some mid-air madness at about 13 frames per second. This is the Boeing aircraft mod and it is magnificent. So as you can see here, we have a plane full of, again, destructible passengers. The whole thing is destructible, and that is what I love about this game. We're running it at 1080p native here, and we're getting anywhere from about 12 to 40 frames per second this time around. I'm going to go and gain access to the cockpit here. I've got the blowtorch. Now this door does open, but I thought this was more fun, and as you can see, you can just cut around it here, as simple as that, and then grab the door and move it out of the way. Now this does have realistic wind effects, and if you get close enough to the windows you will just get sucked out of the plane. Let's just put that out there. Now the extinguisher effects and the flame effects are primary causes of low frame rates, as you would imagine. There we go. Let's just destroy a few more things in here. See, this is what I mean. When I burnt that door earlier and threw it towards the back of the plane, I wish I was facing the other way around because I've missed all of this. The passengers have been sucked out of the plane. There are 2 holes in the bottom of the plane. I don't actually know how this happened, but this is why... Oh, they've gone out now. This is why this game is so much fun, because things like this happen. It is quite annoying when you don't see them happen, but the physics really are something else. And I imagine that if we were watching when all of this kicked off, we probably would have dropped to about 10 FPS. But I'd certainly recommend giving Teardown a go. It is still early access. It's on Steam, but it is a lot of fun, and it can be made to run on lower end hardware if you don't mind adjusting the native resolution and of course playing about with the resolution scale. Whoops. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Leave a dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.